obviously I'm back with another spirit interview video. I want to apologize in case some of you don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook or didn't see the update on YouTube. Just before Christmas Eve, my oldest cat started getting sick, and unfortunately I had to put her down the day after Christmas. She had a upper respiratory infection that they believe developed into pneumonia. She was having her left lung was not pumping the way it should, and they're just like, we're gonna have to do like a battery of tests, and then we're gonna have to put a feeding tube down her because she hadn't eaten in like a day, 2 days, and she hadn't had anything to drink in 1 day. But I used dog's saline drip to keep her hydrated, but they said because she hadn't been eating, she was already having liver problems, and they were going to have to do this and that and this, and I just like, I wouldn't want to go through that. She won't understand what's going on, and I'm not going to do that to her. She's old and she's sick, and I wouldn't do that to her. So I did have to put her down. It took me a few days to like even get out of bed and do stuff other than work, and that of course delayed me packing, and now I'm desperately trying to get it all done because I have less than 2 weeks to do it. So yeah, sorry for the long explanation, but just in case you didn't know and you were wondering why it's been so long in between, that's why. So this spirit interview is with a spirit named Renata. Now Renata may already be spoken for. I have talked to somebody about Renata. If they aren't interested in Renata, obviously Renata will go up on the witchery. So Renata has decided on this doll. There were some mishaps with this doll. There's a piece missing on her leg. She got knocked over by a cat. This doll is from my own private collection, and it was one that I decided in the course of the move I'm going to get rid of, and Renata was like, well, I'll take that doll. So now Renata, in life, Renata was a lot, and of course in life it spills over, you know, after life, but Renata is a lot like I am. She understands the necromantic arts. She worked with spirits. She communicated with spirits. She was psychic. She could control spirits that got out of hand. She's familiar with working with power and energy. So in other words, Renata was in life basically, and I know, I mean, I'm not unique. I know I'm not unique. I know there are others out there like me. I haven't found anybody that I know of that has the unique combination. Some people can do some things, some people can do others, but I don't think I'm unique. I'm sure there are other people out there that can do exactly like I can, just like Renata can. So Renata, obviously that's not a Irish name or an English name. It's not even a Swedish name. Am I right in guessing you are Italian? Okay. Now, were you born in Italy? You were. What? 1734 is when you were born. Okay. Provencia? Is that... Stop that. Provencia, Italy? Did I say that right? Let me look it up. Let's see. Oh, so you're saying the province of Italy. Which... I think she's saying like Loreto. It's not Laredo. I think she's saying Loreto. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Yep, there's a Loreto, Italy. Yep. That's exactly what I thought I knew it wasn't Laredo. Yeah, she's saying she's from Loreto, Italy. She was born in 1734. She said in 1754. She was working as a maid. And like, and one of the merchant, there was like a wealthy merchant. She was working in his house. I think she and the son were like having some sort of like affair. Did you end up getting pregnant? Yeah. So you had to go into a convent to have the baby. No, I'm not saying that you were a nun, but you were sent to the convent to have a baby. Yes. Okay. Like convent for unwed mothers and stuff. They, yeah. Obviously you lost that position in your house, in the household. And it was just a dalliance for the son, basically. Okay. Was it consensual? It was consensual. Okay. She's mad that they did not compensate her for her disgrace. It's not that I mean, it was consensual sex, but she didn't, like, love the son. She is just upset that they did not compensate her. Was your child in an orphanage? Did your child eventually get adopted? Yes. Her child was eventually adopted. She ended up in Sorrento, Italy. Something about the church. Like the parsonage house of the church. I think... Okay, so what happened was, the nuns at the convent where she ended up giving birth, they liked her so much what they did was they secured her a position at one of the Catholic, in rectory. That's what it's called in Catholic terms. It's called the rectory, otherwise known as a parsonage house. It's where the priests live. In America, they would sometimes board with families because they didn't have their own. If it's a very small parish, they would just like basically rent in a boarding house or something. But where there is a larger town and they have like a couple of different priests, there would be a rectory house built for them. And she was basically the housekeeper for the rectory house. And this, I don't know if it was Sorrento or maybe like the outskirts of Sorrento or something, but it was in Sorrento. So that's where she was. And when she was 26, she figured out what she could do. She would see the ghosts in the graveyard walking around. And occasionally, when she's either passing through, they would talk to her. She would hear them. And that's because people like her and I, we have an aura that when a spirit sees that aura, they understand that we are different than other people because our auras are different. And to them, we kind of shine. My spirits have said I am like a bonfire in the darkness. And people that have that psychic ability, to spirits, we are a bonfire in the darkness, and we attract them. And she didn't understand why they would come. You know, they would all, if she was passing by, she would see them start to like migrate towards that side of the cemetery. They didn't leave. Most of them did not leave the grounds. It's almost like they were trapped there or whatever. Or maybe they just didn't know where else to go. But they would talk to, she wouldn't talk back, but they would talk to her to try to get her attention. And it kind of frightened her. She knew that she was not going crazy because she recognized these people that had passed. She knew them. But she didn't want to be seen as talking to the dead. But one night she was looking out her window and she was watching them, and one of them came below her window and gestured for her to open it. And so she opened it and she had a conversation with them. And this spirit actually was kind of knowledgeable. It wasn't one she had known in life, but this spirit knew a lot and was kind of like filling her in about themselves and what happens and why they are where they are and all this other stuff. And she began to understand, obviously she was different than everybody else, and she began to understand how everything works. And this spirit would come actually into her. She did invite the spirit, and the spirit would talk to her at night and teach her about the powers that we utilize and how to control other spirits and how to turn off her power when she needs to. And this spirit actually taught her everything. And this spirit acted as a guide for her. And after that, she never did, because she was of the Catholic faith, she did not practice witchcraft. But in effect, she was a necromancer because she understood how. And she would help heal people through these like helpful spirits, but she would have to use her power and her energy for these spirits to work through her. And when you do that, it ages you very fast. It's taking your life force to do it. She died when she was 42, but she was like revered in that town. People would bring their babies to her, and she would hold the baby, and of course, if she's pouring her energy into that baby, the spirits are working through her to help the baby, you know, and so she was literally pouring her life force out to help these people. She ended up having stomach problems. I think maybe like in the end it may have been like stomach cancer or maybe like liver cancer or something like that. At the very end, she was just completely worn out. She had no energy left for herself, really. And she had no energy left to fight. It went very quickly. I mean, one day she was fine, she was acting normal, and the next day she was really, really tired. And then I think within like 2 weeks, she says it was around like 3, maybe 4 weeks. Because like towards the end, she was really like, she really wasn't there anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, if any of you have had like family that have had cancer and it's been towards the end, you understand what I mean. It's like they're really not, they're in there, but they're not there anymore, really. It's just like the pain is so much. Usually they're like drugged and they're unconscious most of the time. So she thinks it may have been about like 3-4 weeks, but it was really 2 weeks where she was still here, and then by the 3rd week she was kind of going, and so she's unclear if it was 3 or 4 weeks, but it took her really quickly because she had just like poured so much of herself out. Now, Renata, I was asked by this person for like a portal guardian, somebody that can, you know, control other spirits if they're on the spirit board or whatever. And Renata jumped forward and she was like, I can control spirits just the same way you do. So, so that's why we're doing this video with Renata, and that's why she may be taken already. But again, if she's not, Renata will be up for sale. And the buy 2 get 1 free is actually still going on until I move. And I move on the 19th, so I would say probably until like the 17th. The 17th, sorry, is the last day I'm going to do that. So, if you guys are still interested in the buy 2 get 1 free, that's still going on until the January 17th, and then that's done, because if it's not shipped out by that Friday, then it has to go on the back of the truck. So so yeah, that's it for Renata. She doesn't really have anything else to say, because I mean, if you guys have watched me, you watch what I do, you kind of know what I do, so you kind of understand what she does. You don't have anything else to impart. No. So that's Renata. As I said, if she's not taken already, then she will be up on the Witchery. And I am going to try to do some more quick videos in between packing. I can pack it while it's thrown up on editing. So I will be getting out more videos, obviously, before I move. And then when I move, it's obviously going probably about a week before another video will pop up. So I will see you guys in the very next video. Thanks for watching.